Have you ever wondered how our world got to be the way it is today? The answer, surprisingly, isn't just in grand battles or the reigns of kings and queens, often hidden in something much smaller, something microscopic. For millennia, invisible enemies, plagues, and pandemics have swept across the globe, leaving a trail of devastation, but also unexpectedly, shaping the very course of human history. From the way we live in cities to the medical marvels we rely on, the story of humanity is deeply intertwined with the story of disease. Today, we're going to journey back in time to uncover the deadliest outbreaks that reshaped our world and explore the crucial lessons they hold for us right here, right now. Our story begins in ancient Athens. Around 430 BC, the city was at the height of its power, a beacon of democracy and culture, locked in a fierce war with Sparta. But an unseen invader slipped past its walls, far more dangerous than any Spartan army. Symptoms were terrifying: high fevers, intense thirst, and a gruesome rash. It's estimated that it wiped out up to a quarter of the Athenian population, including their brilliant leader, Pericles. The historian Thucydides, who survived it himself, wrote a harrowing account describing a complete breakdown of social order. People abandoned their sick loved ones, and laws were ignored as despair took hold. This plague didn't just kill people. It crippled the Athenian war effort, contributing to their eventual defeat and marking the end of the golden age of Greece. It was a stark, early lesson in how quickly a society's foundations can crumble in the face of a biological crisis. Fast forward about 700 years to the 6th century AD, to the Byzantine Empire. The successor to the Roman Empire in the East, under Emperor Justinian I, the empire was thriving, on the verge of recapturing the lost Western territories and restoring Rome's former glory. But then in 541 AD, the Plague of Justinian arrived. Carried by fleas on rats that traveled along trade routes from Egypt, this was the first recorded pandemic of bubonic plague. It was devastating. At its peak, it was reportedly killing up to 10,000 people a day in the capital, Constantinople. Bodies were piled in the streets, empire's economy collapsed, its military was decimated. And Justinian's dream of a reunited Roman Empire died with the millions of his subjects. This plague permanently weakened the Byzantine Empire, shifting the balance of power in the world and paving the way for the rise of new forces in Europe and the Middle East. It showed how interconnected the world was becoming, and how those connections could be pathways for destruction. Now, let's turn to the one plague that looms largest in our collective memory: the Black Death. It's the mid-14th century, and a new, more virulent strain of the same bacterium from Justinian's time, Yersinia pestis, explodes out of Asia. It traveled along the Silk Road and then by sea, arriving in Europe in 1347. The result was an apocalypse. It's almost impossible for us to comprehend the scale of the Black Death. It's estimated to have killed between 30 and 60% of Europe's entire population. Think about that. 10 some towns? Literally half the people were gone in a matter of months. Society was turned upside down. With so many workers dead, the old feudal system, which relied on peasants being tied to the land, began to shatter. Laborers were suddenly in high demand. They could negotiate for better wages, more freedom, and better working conditions. This massive social and economic shift helped plant the seeds for the end of the Middle Ages and the dawn of the Renaissance. The Black Death was a tragedy of unimaginable proportions, but it also acted as a grim catalyst for radical change, proving that even from the deepest darkness, a new world can be born. The age of exploration brought worlds together, but it also brought diseases. When European explorers and colonizers arrived in the Americas in the 15th and 16th centuries, they brought with them invisible weapons far more effective than their swords and guns: smallpox, measles, and influenza. The indigenous populations of the Americas had no immunity to these old-world diseases. The results were catastrophic. Smallpox, in particular, tore through the Aztec and Inca empires with terrifying speed. Some estimates suggest that as much as 90% of the indigenous population was wiped out by disease alone. This great dying was one of the largest demographic disasters in human history. It not only enabled the Spanish conquest, but also fundamentally and permanently altered the continents, clearing the way for European colonization on a massive scale. It's a tragic reminder of the devastating consequences when different worlds collide without understanding the invisible threats they carry. As we move into the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution is in full swing. People are flocking to cities for work, but these new urban centers are crowded, unsanitary, and a perfect breeding ground for disease. And one disease defined this era: cholera. Spread through contaminated water, cholera caused horrific symptoms and could kill within hours. Several major pandemics swept the globe throughout the 1800s, but this time, something was different. People started to fight back with science. In 1854, during a severe outbreak in London, a physician named John Snow did something revolutionary. Instead of blaming bad air, which was the common theory, he suspected the water. He painstakingly mapped the cases and traced them all back to a single public water pump on Broad Street. He convinced the local officials to remove the pump's handle, and the outbreak in that area stopped almost immediately. This was a monumental moment. It was the birth of modern epidemiology, the science of tracking and controlling disease. The fight against cholera forced cities to build proper sewer systems and sanitation infrastructure, fundamentally changing urban living and public health forever. It taught us that by understanding how a disease spreads, we can effectively stop it. Finally, we arrive in the 20th century, just as the First World War is ending. A new, mysterious, and incredibly deadly flu virus emerges, becoming known as the 1918 Spanish flu. Despite its name, it likely didn't originate in Spain. It was a global phenomenon, and it was uniquely terrifying because it disproportionately killed young, healthy adults. The war had created the perfect conditions for its spread. With millions of soldiers moving around the globe in crowded ships and trenches, it infected an estimated 1/3 of the world's population and killed somewhere between 50 and 100 million people, more than the war itself. The 1918 pandemic was a wake-up call. It drove massive investment in public health, spurred the development of virology as a field, and made the world realize the urgent need for global cooperation in health crises. It showed that in an increasingly connected world, a health threat anywhere is a health threat everywhere. So what do these stories from the past teach us today? They show us that pandemics are not just historical footnotes. They are powerful agents of change. They reveal the vulnerabilities in our societies, from overcrowded cities to global trade routes. The Plague of Justinian showed how interconnectedness can be a double-edged sword. The Black Death demonstrated how a crisis can accelerate profound social and economic shifts. The cholera outbreaks proved the power of science and public infrastructure. And the 1918 flu underscored the absolute necessity of global cooperation. These historical outbreaks remind us of our own fragility, but they also showcase our incredible resilience. They highlight the importance of science, public health, and working together as a global community. History shows us that while new threats will always emerge, our ability to learn from the past is our greatest weapon in building a safer, healthier future for everyone. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. See you next time.